everyone. Welcome to First Unity Church of St. Louis Sunday service. We know that you have options for how to spend your time, so thank you for choosing to spend a little time with us today. My name is Ann Hardepy, and it's my honor and pleasure to serve as your platform assistant this Mother's Day. It's been said that a mother's love is the veil of a softer light between the heart and divine spirit. For many of us, it's the light that nurtured the growth of our faith. So I'd like to take a moment to wish a very happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, bonus moms, and women in our lives who have loved us, cared for us, and inspired us. Reverend Jan's message on this Mother's Day is Mothers of Unity. Now I invite you to join me in welcoming Prayer Chaplain Hope Dodson to read the Daily Word.
Hello everyone, happy Mother's Day. Today's daily word is Mother's Blessing, and the affirmation is I honor all mothers and am grateful for their love. I bless my mother and I'm grateful to her for the gift of nurturing love. Whether my mother is still with me or has passed on, her love still lives in my heart and her wisdom continues to inspire me. I am grateful for the many ways my mother has blessed me. I also feel deep appreciation and tender affection for all of those who have blessed me with the selfless gift of motherly love. I would not be who I am without them. Through the living example of the mothers in my life, I pass along the blessings of a mother's care and devotion as I embrace opportunities to share an affirming thought, an encouraging word, a smile, or a simple act of kindness. I honor my mother and all mothers as I share the love of God that never fails. And from Proverbs 31:26, she opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. Let's take a moment to pray. Let's center ourselves in that wonderful, loving Spirit of God within, that Spirit that nurtures and cares and reaches out in wisdom and love. We honor all mothers, those who have had the role of mother in our lives, and even those single dads who act as mother and father. We bless all of them and say thank you, and let this loving energy surround the earth. And so it is. Amen.
The angel voice that bids you good night kisses your cheek, whispers sleep tight. That's your mother and mine. Your mother and mine. The helping hand that guides you along, whether you're right or whether you're wrong. It's your mother and mine. Your mother and mine. mothers, all that they are, might as well ask what makes a star. And so ask your heart to tell you her worth. Your heart will say heaven and earth. Another word for divine. That's your mother and mine. Happy Mother's Day.
Good morning and welcome. As Anne has already said, this is the day, Mother's Day, set aside for us to celebrate mothers, grandmothers, all of those who nourished us, taught us, and shaped who we have become. So because of that, we are going to spend this morning honoring the Mothers of Unity, 3 Mothers of Unity. And we'll begin with Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore, truly the first Mother of Unity. Born Mary Carolyn Page in 1845, she grew up in Pagetown, Ohio, a town founded by her father. As a young girl, she didn't like her given name, and so she adopted the name Myrtle. Her parents, Marcus and Lucy, were deeply religious, faithful members of the Episcopal Methodist Church. Myrtle later would say they were God-fearing people, but she could never understand their church creed and belief in a vengeful God. She especially marveled that her mother, who was so lovingly devoted, could accept that image of the divine. Myrtle's father insisted on a strict, puritanical lifestyle for every one of his 9 children, and probably his wife as well. I'm not sure about that. But at any rate, he frowned on most forms of amusement, including card playing and dancing. In her youth, Myrtle was passionately in love with nature, seeing God in all life. She writes, "I delighted in walking in the woods. I loved to touch a tree and feel its intelligence. I now know that I was feeling and responding to the omnipresent Spirit of God." However, at a early age, Myrtle was diagnosed with tuberculosis. Now, because several members of her family had died with the dread disease, she was brought up to believe that she had inherited it. As a child, Myrtle often heard other family members say, "Oh, she's delicate, she's ill, she must not overdo." Myrtle loved going to school and decided early that she would become a teacher. With her physical activities curtailed, she turned to her beloved books, wanting to read those deemed appropriate for the big boys and adults. She simply could not understand why her parents thought these books were not suitable for her. Secretly, she borrowed her brother's books and hid in corners and closets to read them. She delved deeply into algebra, geometry, and trigonometry. She moved beyond the science taught in the little one-room school to study her brother's chemistry and physics books, and she was fascinated with astronomy. By the time she reached her teens, Myrtle had read every single book in the large collection of the Page household, including works of Shakespeare, the Jewish historian Josephus, and the Bible. After high school, Myrtle enrolled in the Oberlin College, where she took the Literary Course for Ladies, a 1-year curriculum because women were not allowed to go any longer. After graduating, she taught children in Clinton, Missouri, which is a town about 70 miles southeast of Kansas City. Myrtle had great success as a teacher and was absolutely loved by all her students. In her early 30s, however, she became seriously ill with both tuberculosis and malaria, and doctors advised her to go to a warmer, drier climate, suggesting Denison, Texas, a resort area for consumptive patients. In Denison, Myrtle joined the Denison Literary Club, where she met one Charles Fillmore, who had come south from Minneapolis to seek his fortune. He was 24 and Myrtle was 33, 9 years difference. At their first meeting, Myrtle read some of her poetry aloud, and Charles decided right then and there that he wanted her for his wife. He always thought he had chosen her, but many years later she set him straight. "The women always do the choosing, Charles," she said. "You were splendid, dear, or I wouldn't have chosen you." Before long, the two were exchanging books and ideas and going fossil hunting together. In 1878, Myrtle's health improved enough that she was able to go back to resume teaching in Clinton. At this point, the two began corresponding by letter, often exchanging their views on the nature of God and God's relationship to humankind. In the spring of 1881, Charles made the trip from Colorado, where he was working at the time, to Clinton, Missouri, and they were married, with all of Myrtle's students in attendance. That very night, they boarded a train for Pueblo, Colorado, setting out for the greatest adventure of their life together. Out west, Myrtle was the only woman in a group that crossed the mountains in a stagecoach. 3 years later, they moved with 2 young sons to Kansas City, a city in the midst of a building boom where Charles opened a real estate office. As Charles' business grew, Myrtle's health deteriorated. In 1886, doctors said there was nothing more they could do and gave Myrtle 6 months to live. It was at this point that she and Charles, really in desperation, attended a lecture by metaphysician E.B. Weeks, where she heard the words, "I am a child of God. I do not inherit illness." Upon hearing that statement, a new, liberating conviction blazed in her heart and mind. Instead of seeing her body as weak and diseased, Myrtle began to claim her innate divine potential of wholeness. She started a daily prayer practice where she spoke to each organ of her body, expressing gratitude and seeing each free and unlimited. In about 2 years, she was completely healed and began to share her process with others. First, her laundress, who suffered with severe bronchitis, then her own children, who had been sickly, finally neighbors and friends, and the word spread. Eventually, she and Charles pioneered a healing support system that grew into the Silent Unity Prayer Ministry, still operating today. Ordained with Charles, Myrtle served as a minister of the Unity Society of Practical Christianity and as director of Silent Unity for many years. Biographer Neil Vale, in the book Myrtle Fillmore, Lighting the Way, notes that Myrtle and Charles were equal partners in developing and advancing unity principles, teaching classes together and sharing the platform for Sunday services. A regular attendee at these services testified that Myrtle was never just part of the supporting cast. He wrote, "For many years, Mrs. Fillmore took more than half the allotted time for the Sunday lectures. Many times I sat in the audience and heard Mr. Fillmore remark at the end of her talk that it was time to end the service and he would just add a few closing remarks." Unity minister Martha Smock wrote, "Those who attended the Fillmore services recall how the two sat in high-backed chairs on the platform. Mr. Fillmore always wore a coat with long tails. If he talked too long, Mrs. Fillmore would reach up and pull his coattails. He never seemed to mind and always enjoyed a laugh with the audience." Vail writes, without a doubt, throughout her life, co-founder Myrtle Fillmore was involved in all major decisions affecting the development of the Unity movement. For over 40 years, she played a leading role, teaching, sharing spiritual truths, giving lectures, conducting meditations, writing articles, a children's book, and countless handwritten, uplifting letters to people throughout the world who requested prayer support. These became the source for the books Myrtle Fillmore's Healing Letters and How to Let God Help You. Her letters and articles are full of wisdom, faith, and advice about living from spiritual principle. Myrtle Fillmore was determined to live from and share practical truth to bolster faith and enrich lives. That was her mission. Myrtle made her transition in 1931, and her legacy lives on today. We'll let one of Myrtle's quotes from Healing Letters be her motherly wisdom for us today. She wrote, "Each one of us is inseparably one with God, the source and substance of life and wisdom and every good. Look within yourself to the Christ mind for the light that will flood your soul and enable you to see yourself and your affairs in right relation to God and your fellow human beings." And in another letter she wrote, "If we know and love the truth, we are not afraid. We are bold and put out into the sea of faith." Timely advice. The second mother of Unity we're going to look at today is May Rowland. May grew up in Unity and was part of Myrtle's Sunday school class. In 1912, right after she finished high school, she came to work for the Fillmores, who were at that time in their 60s and just needing some help in the prayer ministry. 4 years later, in 1916, at the age of 26, May Rowland was appointed by the Fillmores as Director of Silent Unity, putting her in charge of 35 prayer associates. Neil Vail, in the book The Unity Movement, Its Evolution and Spiritual Teachings, shares a story from May shortly after taking the job. She recalled asking Charles how to handle some of the more difficult prayer request letters to Silent Unity. She said, "At first he would read them carefully and guide me in what to say. Finally, about the 4th time I went in, he said very positively, 'May, the Christ mind is in you. Use it.' Then I knew that he didn't want me to ask any more questions, so I didn't." That must have worked really well because May Rowland served as Director of Silent Unity for 55 years, retiring in 1971, making her the longest-serving director in Silent Unity's history. And from the very beginning, Myrtle Fillmore had a sense that even though May was in her early 20s, she was going to make a great contribution to the movement. Myrtle told her, "You are going to be a great harmonizer in Unity." And that prediction definitely came to pass. In addition to directing Silent Unity, May Rowland taught at Unity School for many years, served as a member of the Unity School Board of Trustees, and had a major impact on the direction of the school. The Fillmore's grandson, Charles R., viewed May as the stabilizing influence on the board. When Lowell Fillmore, president of the school, had a problem, he would go to May for advice. Charles R. says he ran the school with a lot of help from May. Also, May Rowland was the one who launched the ministerial training program in the 1930s. Richard Billings, one of May's many mentees, reported, "After the Fillmore's transitions, May became the constant we all looked to. She was the one person you could depend on. She was what most of us consider to be the spiritual leader of Unity." And James Freeman, who worked with her for many years and eventually succeeded her as director of Silent Unity, saw her contribution as equaling that of the co-founders, Murder and Charles. That's quite a statement. Neil Vale says, May Rowland was a towering figure in unity. She, like Myrtle, served as an inspiration for many future leaders of the movement. Eric Butterworth called her the soul of unity. She is also described as a deeply profound spiritual person with a strong aura of saintliness about her. Our former minister, Reverend Randy Schmaling, worked in Silent Unity as a ministerial student while May was still the director. And he remembers on many occasions seeing May pass by the desk of an ill prayer associate, and the associate was immediately healed. On one occasion during a class May was teaching, Randy shares that a fellow minister came to class with a nasty-looking, apparently second-degree burn. Now, May didn't know anything about the burn, but as she began to speak, the burn started to shrink, little by little, until it just disappeared over the course of a couple of minutes. Randy says May Rowland had an aura of spiritual healing that you could feel when she walked by. And on that day, he says, all of us in the back row saw the results. He describes that event as miraculous. And those who worked with May through the years say she radiated a spirit of youthfulness, joy, strength, and spiritual power. And she loved to laugh, dance, and have fun. Reverend Billings remembers she hosted barn dances every Friday night, and all the male students from Unity School had to appear, whether they liked it or not, to dance with May Rowland. She also loved walking and being part of nature. In later years, May spent summer vacations on a western ranch where she enjoyed the outdoors. She finally married a staff member from that ranch whom she had met years earlier. She later commented, "I only wish I had married him when he asked me first 10 years ago." By all accounts, May Rowland had great insight, understanding, and compassion for others. Anytime someone had a challenge, she would say, "Let's think of a good affirmation for that." She wrote countless articles on prayer and spiritual healing. Many of them are still available on unity.org. She also was the author of 2 books, The Magic of the Word and Dare to Believe. May Rowland shaped the Unity movement and the world in a deep and profound way. She's been called one of the greatest giants of the 20th century. For her motherly device, I'm going to share 2 of her favorite affirmations. One is, "I am the ever-renewing, ever-unfolding expression of infinite life, love, and wisdom." And the second is, "I have what it takes. Through God in me, I am fearless. I am an overcomer." Thank you, May Rowland. Our third mother of unity was born close by in Belleville, Illinois. In 1916, the year May took over Silent Unity. And our third mother is actually has both a St. Louis and a First Unity connection. Reverend Dr. Mary Louise Kupferle is a well-known Unity minister who served a lifetime as a spiritual leader and prolific author. Her books and many articles, poems, and pamphlets became standards throughout the Unity movement and are still distributed worldwide. In 1976, in tribute to her work as a minister, counselor, author, past president of the Association of Unity Churches, and member of the Executive Board and Board of Regents, she was awarded an honorary Doctor of Divinity degree by the Association of Unity Churches. Mary Kupferle made her transition in 2013 at the age of 97. Now it is my pleasure to introduce a surprise guest. someone who knew Mary well, her cousin and our own Patricia Reese.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Mother's Day. I am Patricia Reese. I have been asked to say a few words about Mary Kupferle on this beautiful Mother's Day. It is both an honor and a privilege to do so. Mary Hyde Kupferle was born in Belleville, Illinois. Her parents wanted her to become a secretary, and I can tell you she did not like any part of this. One day, her parents rented their little cottage on the back of their property to a spiritual truth student. Mary started spending all her free time at the cottage conversing with the truth student. One day, she announced to her parents she was going to Unity Village and become a minister. Mary started her adventure as an ordained minister on Skinker at the Unity Christ Church in St. Louis. After a time, Mary found her new home at Unity of Delray Beach, Florida. She flourished and became a senior minister. With her love for children, she founded the Unity School on the church grounds. This private, independent school combined academic excellence with fine arts, music, and character development. This was one of her proudest moments. During her ministry, she spent several months in Jamaica. She helped to develop the Unity of Jamaica. Dr. Kupferle's other accomplishments would be serving as president of Unity's worldwide ministry, writing for the Unity magazine, Daily Word, and publishing 5 books. Mary has created a series of children's lessons called Greater Than Anything Me. This publication is still being worked on today. After retirement, Mary and her husband Bill moved part-time to Brevard, North Carolina. There she would invite children from the Brevard Music Center to come to her house to practice, filling her home with music and laughter all the time. Here are a few of my favorite memories of Mary. Sitting on her porch, talking spiritually for hours. Let me tell you, we knew how to clear a room and have all the family members go inside. Getting Mary to use her phrases, dear one, and divine order in one sentence. That was always a plus for me. Going to her favorite open-air seafood restaurant, only to have her order the best hamburger she ever had. And dancing with Mary at midnight to the sounds of Andrea Bocelli. This was at the top of my list. Well, I hope you enjoyed this bit of insight to one of the great mothers of Unity. Take care and happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, Patricia, for that beautiful glimpse into Mary Kupferle. In a newspaper article published in 1975, Mary wrote, "My greatest blessings, joys, fulfillments, and challenges have come as a result of being in the ministry. I wouldn't change it for any other profession in the world. The most gratifying thing I do and the greatest contribution I can make is helping people." So for Mary's motherly advice today, we're going to use one of her articles entitled, "Let Go, Let God Fill Your Need," as a source of our meditation today.
There's a holy hush around us as God's glory fills the place. I've touched the hem of His garment. I can the fullness of His joy. I know without a doubt that I've been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can feel the rush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Now I invite you to close your eyes, become comfortable wherever you are, relax your mind and body as you prepare to take into your heart and soul the words of Reverend Dr. Mary Kupferle. If you are anxious, tense, or concerned about anything in your life, dear friend, begin now to relax, let go, and let God fill your need. No matter what seems to be missing from your life, be it a much-loved person, a special place, an activity of great value, or a feeling of well-being, know that God is right now filling your need. Take a deep breath. Release it slowly, telling yourself quietly, I let go. I let God fill my need. Accept the reality that God's wisdom is ever present, ready to fill you with new understanding, light, and life. Let God fill every void, every emptiness that seems to separate you from the desires of your heart. God's light, substance, and divine activity move in and through you as you let go. God's creative process is awaiting your acceptance of its productive, healing action. Let your thoughts be lifted up. Let the presence of God dissolve your fears and doubts and remove every unbelief. Let go and let God within you do the work. Begin now to relax from the strain and effort of questioning, planning, and reasoning. Take a few moments to calm your thinking and place all of your attention on the words, I let go. I let God. Immediately, you experience visible and tangible benefits inside and out. You feel renewed strength, faith, and courage. Your understanding of the presence of God within you becomes clearer. You align with divine knowledge, guidance, understanding, faith, healing, and anything else you need. Whatever your life experience appears to be, you have, at this very moment, an opportunity to let go of your personal striving and let God move in you and through you. God's love and goodness will always fill every need in your circumstances, every hunger in your heart, every longing in your soul for peace and assurance, and every good desire for the expression of well-being. God is always with you, always within you. No matter how great the gulf seems between you and the solution to your deepest desire, you can trust God. God never leaves a void, As you let go and trust God, everything is transformed, yes, everything, into a blessing. God continually makes dark places light, rough places smooth, crooked places straight, and empty places full of loving kindness and abundance of joy. So let go, let God fill your need. Let the creative process of God begin now to fill every point in your life that needs the touch of divine love and healing power. God is ready to do what you cannot do by your human self. And so it is, and so on this Mother's Day, we joyously allow it to be. In the name and through the power of the eternal Christ's presence, we say thank you to the universe. Amen.
Usually, at this point in our service, we receive our gifts and offerings, which include our time, talents, and tithes. Gratitude is the causative energy that allows our blessings to flow forth. So in this consciousness, we give thanks by saying, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, for so abundantly providing for me and my church. Before we leave you today, I'd like to take a moment to express our deep gratitude to the folks who have made this service possible with the gifts of their time and talents. There's our wonderful minister, Reverend Jan, prayer chaplain Hope Dodson, our soloist Dean Wiegert, videographer Kathy Boyd, webmaster Carol Ellerman, and special guest Patricia Reese. We conclude today's service with the song God Is by Richard McVeasy. Take care, be healthy, and we'll be holding you in our hearts and prayers.
God is my help in every need. God does my every hunger feed. God walks beside me, guides my way through every moment of the day. Wherever we are, you say, God is wherever we go. God is, let everybody know. God is and all is well. I now am wise, I now am true, patient, kind, and loving too. All things I am, can do, and be through Christ the truth that lives in me. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever we go, God is. Let everybody know what? God is, and all is well, well, well. Whenever we give, God is. Whenever we love, God is. There's always gonna be enough, 'cause God is, and all is well. God is my health, I can't be sick. God is my strength, unfailing quick. God is my all, I know no fear, 'cause God in love and truth are here. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever we go, God is. Let everybody know, God is, and all is well. Whenever we give, God is. Whenever we love, y'all know this verse. Sing it if you like. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us wherever we are. God is wherever we go. God is, let everybody know. God is and all is well. Whenever we give, God is. Whenever we love, God is. There's always gonna be enough. God is. Oh, let's do it one more time. I'll say wherever we are, yeah, wherever we go. Let everybody know God is and all is well. Well, whenever we give, yeah, whenever we love, and there's always gonna be enough, 'cause God is and all is well. I said that, oh,